Okay, so then there's focus forward. This is kind of a tricky one. Focus forward is like, it's like you have to be focused and you have to be in the zone. When you focus, you get into the zone. Focus has to be everything. Focus is passion, and passion is focus. And focus is when you focus, that helps you, allows you to get into the zone. When you get into the zone, you're unstoppable. You have to be in the zone on what you can focus on, what you are good at. You must focus there. How does that relate to a teacher? A teacher must focus on their skills, not their weaknesses. They must use those to the maximum they can. Only in the arena of focusing, not in the arena of the whole spectrum of school.
What for?
Because then if they work on what they're really good at, they can get kids to buy into it, to believe it, to understand it, and to get it, and to get the passion of it, and to connect. All of this relates to connection. All of this. When you're playing tennis, the reason why I've realized I fell in love with tennis is because I'm a man of connection. I have been a man not knowing connection and not knowing my value in the world. But once my dear sensei, MR, taught me what it was, I wish it would remain nameless, but anonymous, but once she got me to realize that that was my homework, my spiritual coach, then connection is what it's all about. Everything ties into a connection. You can have meditation, you can have yoga, but it all comes to oneness, and it all comes to connection. As far as I'm concerned, if I wanted to simplify it all, I'd say connection and oneness, and having your mind relate to your body is where I'm trying to get to. It's a process.
How does your life improve when you connect?
Well, and let's get back to mind and body too. How does my life improve when I connect? It becomes a more beautiful place, and space opens up. Your body opens up, your chest opens up, but without gratitude, none of this will happen. Gratitude and empathy have to be there. They must. It's a must. If you have a should, you have to have a must. You have to have that. A should, there has to be a must. A must means you have a must for yourself, not for other people. For yourself. Let's be clear about that. Must on other people is aggressive. My dear friend MR taught me that. But must for yourself. You have a will, you have to have a must. There isn't a yes, there isn't a I think so, a maybe. It has to be you have to have complete and massive certainty, total certainty. So with that being said, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Sorry, I had to mention that. I didn't want to go there, but I had to. Okay, moving on, no jokes. Okay, so no smiling. Smiling is important though. Okay, so with that being said, then you have another topic, which is, I don't have my notes right in front of me, my objectives, but another topic would be boundaries. Boundaries on the tennis court. You have to know what are your boundaries. First of all, you have to know where your lines are. Well, I guess that'd be the rules. But your boundaries on the tennis court of where you are on the court and who is around you on the court. And the other day, very important story here to tell really quickly, but I was getting kind of hammered on the tennis court. I was kind of getting beaten down on the tennis court mentally. Is it the story of my weight of my stomach? Maybe it could be. Maybe it's because I weigh 240 pounds and I'm overweight by 15 pounds. That could be my story. But that's just a story. We're going to divorce that story and write a new story where I run off into the sunset happily ever after. Okay, so that being said, it could be my weight. It could be because I ran 10 kilometers on my treadmill or 5 miles. That could be a story, but no, maybe that may be strong because if you have motion in your legs, you have a game going on here. Or it could be the story that I feel a little dizzy because I'm tired. No, I'm a well-oiled machine. I have a stomach, but I know my weight, I know who I am, I know what I can and what I can't do. Back to focus forward. So with all that being said, I'm getting kicked. My ass is getting kicked. Excuse me, I have to say a bad word. My rear end is getting kicked, okay? My gluteus maximus is getting kicked. So with that all being said, let's keep it in doctoral terms because I am a wannabe doctor. Okay, so with that being said, and I'm here to operate, all that being said, I noticed that I have this young girl looking at me, and she's only 6 years old. She doesn't have the wealth that I have in terms of financial, but in terms of spirituality, she has more than me. I recognize this now, today, reflecting back. And she doesn't have the capability to speak because of the difference of language. But she certainly has the freedom of thinking and the range of thinking and creativity that is beyond me. There's no judgment there. Matter of fact, I'd have to put her as one of my teachers. I'd have to give her that credit. She's a beautiful soul, a beautiful girl externally and internally. So with all that being said, I'm getting kicked. And I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? And I walked over to the fence, and I put my fingers into the fence, through the fence, and the little girl shook my fingers. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, I got some acceptance, but that's not going to help me win a tennis match. Okay, so I went back and tried to serve again and play a point, and all of a sudden I'm like, gosh, I can't believe this. I lost again. This guy's beating me because he's faster than me, because I'm slow, overweight American guy who can't do nothing, anything. And then I came back and I put my fingers in the fence again. And she smiles and she takes my fingers. And she trusted me. I'm like, okay, this is something. What can I do with this? Life will give you whatever you pay it. So I was like, okay. So I kept on playing. I felt good, but then I noticed when I moved to the right of the fence, she's there. When I moved to the back of the fence, she's there. And then I realized I came up with my own little childish fantasy because I related and connected to her on a spiritual, a spatial way. And my space opened, my chest real big. All of a sudden, all that uncertainty in my back and about myself became reality. And the reality was that everything I needed, the support I needed, and this is a real support and a real acceptance that I can really use and realize and recognize my meaning in the world. This girl had provided it. And then all of a sudden, I walked a little taller, I lived a little longer, I felt a little stronger, I felt a little bit bigger, and I felt like I was like my hero, Tony Robbins. Well, I can say his name, my life coach. I was all of a sudden went from 6 foot to 6'9", and I was walking tall. But I lined up, fired the serve, and came into the net and conquered. I elevated my game above the rim. I elevated above the rim. And so with that all being said, everything that I needed was there. I tapped into the magic that I already have, the connection, because I've always had that connection with kids and didn't realize it. I didn't realize how grateful I needed to be. And when gratitude appears, when fear disappears and gratitude is realized, then abundance appears. And this is a valuable lesson that cannot be ignored. You cannot. You must appreciate it. So now I'm internally grateful for this young lady. Thank you for that piece. Stop that piece.